Hello, hello. It's Miss Peachy again from WCA Biology. We are looking at Unit 3, Lesson 11 on plant hormones. Just as a reminder, I do have a note sheet available for this lesson. It's going to be linked on my website, and I will provide that link for you on the hub as well. So use that if it's helpful. If not, you can make your own notes. That's totally fine too. So, what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about hormones, not those kind of hormones. We are not talking about hormones that change you from a child to a grown up, that make you all moody and having, you know, just just surly all the time or whatever. Those are hormones, but there are a multitude of hormones. Plants, interestingly, also have hormones. So many multicellular organisms have hormones. What are hormones anyway? Hormones are just chemicals that send messages from one part of the organism to another. They're one way, there are several different ways, but this is just one way that an organism can communicate from one part of it to the other part of it. You can't just be like, hey, hey down there, I need you to start regulating my metabolism or whatever. You can't just tell it what to do with your mouth. So messengers, chemicals in the body, they travel via your bloodstream or your lymphatic system, and they're able to then send messages, from one part of the body to another. And that's true too with plants as well. Plants also have hormones. The first hormone they talk about is a hormone called ethylene. And ethylene is a gas that is secreted by fruit. Fruit when this ethylene is secreted, it tells the fruit to ripen. So, kind of interesting, right? You may have wondered why all your tomatoes are ripe at the same time in the fall. It's very frustrating because what am I going to do with all these tomatoes, especially when you're a teacher and you're going back to school and you're just like, I don't have time to can this stuff right now. The problem with that is because when one tomato ripens, it produces ethylene, and that causes another tomato then to ripen and then produce ethylene. And it's kind of like a chain reaction where all of them ripen right around the same time. It's also why when you have a bowl of fruit, sometimes it's hard because if you have really ripe fruit put in with really unripe fruit, you might have ripening happening quicker than you would have if you would have separated your fruit. So here we have some bananas. These are just about the end of, as far as I'm concerned, the stage in which you can eat them. I'm sure you guys may disagree. Some of you might eat them when they're, dark bananas, and some people might just prefer green bananas. I don't know what to tell you. But the greener the banana is, the more starch is in the banana. And you remember that starch is a polymer made up of multiple sugars that are linked together, multiple monomers. And during the ripening process, the starches are broken down into sugars, and that's why bananas get sweeter because of that. Another hormone is called abscisic acid, and abscisic acid helps plants become more dormant in colder months so they can survive. It also helps to regulate the opening and closing of the stomata here. And those stomata are like these little openings that allow gas to come in, carbon dioxide, and oxygen to come out. They also keep the plant from being dehydrated because when they close up, water can't get out of the plant. And during very dry and hot months, they are going to stay more closed than open. And then we have the hormone auxin. And auxin is really cool because auxin either can work to inhibit plant growth or it can work to actually encourage plant growth. So it just kind of depends on, what part of the plant it is in. In fact, auxin is controlling something we call tropisms. And you get that later on. There are two types of tropisms. We have phototropisms and we have what's known as geotropism or gravitropism. And during phototropism, what's really cool here is that auxin actually is causing the plant to or encourages plant growth, right? During phototropism. So the phototropic response of plants is due to the action of auxin. a hormone that affects the growth of plants. And cells cannot be observed without a microscope. It's helpful to use models here. So it affects the elongation of cells. Auxin moves away from the light. When sunlight is directly above the plant, the auxin from the tip of the plant stems spreads evenly down each side. This causes the plant to grow straight up. If the light is on one side, the more auxin will accumulate on the shady side of the plant. This causes increased elongation on that side. So I don't think this picture is the best here because it's not really showing that cell elongation. I actually prefer this one here. So what you're seeing is on the shady side of the plant, if the light is off to one side of the plant, the auxin will like run away, it's light. It runs away from the light. The side of the plant that has less or has more auxin has cell elongation. So these cells here are longer than these cells here. Because they're longer, it causes the plant to kind of grow curved, and it's curving towards the light. So it actually works in the benefit of the plant. With geotropism, which is also known as gravitropism, the opposite is true. This happens in the roots of the plants. The auxin actually sinks down to the bottom of the root because of gravity. And this actually causes inhibition of growth. So the side of the root that has more auxin actually slows down the growth there. And the side with less auxin grows more, which causes the plant root to curve down towards the center of gravity. Weird, isn't it? That auxin in shoots, stems, and stuff like that causes cell elongation, whereas auxin in roots causes the stunting or the inhibition of growth of the plants. I think that's kind of funky. All right, so that is pretty much all of the stuff in this lesson. Plant hormones, who knew? And they are chemical messengers. They are chemicals that send signals from one part of an organism to another. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, ladies and gents, I will see you in the next video.